beautiful ones. I'm Viola Jackson, single mom to two all-around awesome adult sons, professionally trained life coach, author, and speaker in training with America's #1 confidence coach, Dr. Keith Johnson. Hey, have you ever seen an animal and just felt sorry for it because it was so ugly? I know, I have too. Take this caterpillar, for instance. I used to feel about my appearance the way this caterpillar looks. The only reason why I'm here with you today is because I represent the thoughts you had about your appearance but made a decision to reject them. From the very beginning, the chances of me ever seeing and thinking of myself as truly beautiful were slim to none, just like most of you. Today, I want to share what I learned from the first 3 decades of my life story, believing I was ugly, and how I was transformed to overcome this limiting, debilitating belief. My journey to beautiful began when I was 4 years old after being stricken with facial paralysis. One day, I was just like all the other kids on the playground, having fun, and the next thing I know, the very next day, I wake up and my whole face is completely contorted, deformed, and drooping on the left side. My mom was on a business trip and had left me with friends. They took me to a family doctor who misdiagnosed me with Bell's palsy and sent me home. The next day, my mom returned and took me to the hospital. Dr. Keenan explained that my situation was life-threatening due to infection, and I was rushed to emergency surgery on the spot. Obviously and thankfully, I survived, but my face would never be the same. From that point on, I suffered endless teasing and people constantly asking me, "What's wrong with your face?" You can just imagine what that did to my identity and self-worth. My self-talk for the next 3 decades was, "I'm ugly, I'm deformed." The words we use in our minds repeatedly to describe ourselves and our identity are some of the most powerful forces in our lives. But how many of you know that telling ourselves that we're ugly, fat, stupid, worthless, weak, no good drains our potential of its power? This belief system, I'm ugly, I'm deformed, hindered my ability to experience love and joy, which affected every area of my life, my behavior, my attitude, my relationships, and most of all, my ability to live up to my full potential. I wandered through life always battling this internal conflict, wanting so badly to fly like a butterfly, but living on the ground like that ugly caterpillar I came to believe I was. Now, in my young mind, having to wake up to go to school and walk through life with facial paralysis every day was already more than enough trauma. But to add insult to injury, my mom sometimes would randomly sing me this little song. "Who would marry you? I would like to know. For every time I see your face, it makes me want to go." I think she thought it was funny, but this further internalized my belief that I was ugly. Don't tolerate the negative words of others that you'd be better off not exposing yourself to or internalizing. When someone says something negative about me now, I literally visualize putting a big red X over their words and turning my back to them and speaking truth over myself. Someone says, "What's wrong with your face?" Red exit, turn, and remind myself, I love my face. My face is beautiful. The power of words is real. In 2017, I had what you might think of as a dream, only while I was wide awake, that changed how I saw and thought about myself forever. In this vision, I was face to face with a man who had been brutally beaten. He was covered with open wounds, bruises, and dried blood. What gripped me was I by no means felt afraid or repulsed. This man wasn't like other men on earth. Somehow I knew I could trust him, that he wouldn't laugh at me or tease me, that he would tell me the truth, and that he was someone who would help me even if it meant laying his life down for me. This man was full of compassion and kindness, and he looked at me with these eyes of unconditional love as deep as the ocean. In this vision, I could see his outward appearance, his broken body, his mutilated face, the flesh under his torn skin. But he could see all the brokenness of my soul. As I looked into his eyes, suddenly I saw my reflection like I was looking in a mirror. But instead of seeing ugly, defective me, for the very first time in my life, I saw myself the way he saw me. And to my amazement, I was completely beautiful. That was the day I discovered that beauty is always in the eye of the beholder. Did you catch that? This was a powerful, life-changing revelation because it meant I could actually choose how I see myself. It also meant that I could accept or reject the opinions and words of others about my beauty. You have the power to change how you think. This will transform you from the inside out. You get to become what you want. You can become and do and have what you want in this life. You can take every thought and purpose captive in your own mind and destroy any limiting beliefs. Your face is the outward expression of your identity because it's the first thing people see. It's an image or a picture of who you are inwardly. The people who had marred this man's face wanted to make him unrecognizable so that he would lose his identity. Without knowing his true identity, he would never be able to fulfill his purpose of impact and influence and ultimately his destiny. It was obvious to me in this vision that whoever had done this to him had failed miserably. Just by the way, being with this man was transforming me. I realized in that moment that true beauty really is only skin deep. The influence of the beauty industry and the media is unprecedented. The standard of beauty it has built up leads to deep feelings of inadequacy in both men and women, which keeps us all on a never-ending treadmill of consumerism to the tune of millions of dollars in their pockets. Once I realized that physical attractiveness doesn't equal substance or character, I began to break through these norms about beauty that society forces down our throats. The process was a lot like a butterfly emerging from a cocoon. It wasn't easy, but the freedom I discovered was life-giving. So while still in this vision, the man said to me, "You have something I want." And without waiting for my response, he said, "I want you to use your beautiful face just the way it is to help others see themselves the way I did for you today." So I stopped focusing on changing my appearance and decided to use the power of words and thinking to change what I say about my appearance, which resulted in changing how I see myself. I began to teach myself how to accentuate the positive and eliminate the negative by choosing to love and be thankful for every part of me because it's what makes me uniquely me. Also by killing comparison, which is a thief and a liar, and by speaking truth and life to myself about my face and the rest of my body. What I found is that the reason people don't change how they see and think about their appearance is, number one, they don't think they can. Secondly, they struggle with feeling ashamed. And this shame prevents them, thirdly, from reaching out for help. The first thing you need to do is ask yourself, what will life look like at the end if I stay stuck in this mindset? The next thing you need to do is tell yourself, if she did it, I can do it too. Then tell your stinking thinking that says you can't change to go to hell. And while you're at it, tell shame to go there too. Now, your next best move is to find a life coach to help you move forward in your life. Stop imitating the ideals and opinions of the culture around you and be transformed by a total reformation of how you think. This will empower you to live a beautiful and prosperous life. I believe in you, and now it's time for you to believe in yourself. Thanks a million for listening.